Hello friends, it's been a while. We are now in late April. Yesterday was beautiful. We were into the 60s. About 10 degrees cooler today. We're, I think, sitting around 55. But you can see, since the snow and the last time we've been out here, the forest is really starting to green up now. Lots of growth. And the bugs have just started, but it's a little cooler today. So maybe they won't be so bad. The nice thing about today, though, it being a little bit cooler, I did sit with her for about 5 minutes yesterday because she just needed a break. And I think with the cooler weather, she should be okay today. What you got there? Something sniffing? Beautiful weather. Not so much water. I think we had a little bit of rain last night. Okay, that's a good spot for a pee. I'm going to cross the river. Look how green it is down there. Okay, so this is kind of close to where I live, and we came in. Today we were on the south side, close to Jordan Road, and we're going to do the full outer loop today. One part I'm not sure which way I'm going to go, but to get back, either the shortcut that is really the outer loop, or we double back on this trail here just for a little bit, which adds a little bit more distance, which is what I like. I don't know how long it is. It's, I think we've measured it, it's not quite 2 miles, like 1.7 miles, which is a nice, you know, nice round circuit. Cookie, okay, let's go. Let's go. Who's coming? Who's coming? Let's go, you're on camera, let's go. Who's your good dog? You want to go first? Come on, Cookie, let's go. Oh, you almost made it. What's that sniffing? Cookie, come on, let's go. Cookie, Cookie. Okay, you go first, okay? Good job, you go first. Okay, Cookie, good dog. The first half she lags, and I gotta keep waiting and calling for her, but on the way back she definitely likes to be in front of me. Okay, I'm gonna get up a little bit of distance and get her to catch up to me. So I know on some of the previous recordings I've spoken about King Philip, who was Metacom, and the Wampanoag tribe, and this area, Indian Rock, which we'll cross over today, was the first Pilgrim native battles, 1660s. So good history back here. And a beautiful forest, and not that big. Again, if you drive to the end of King Philip, is a great way to come in and see it. Oh, that path there that I just passed is where we're most likely going to come out. There's Cookie behind those logs there. We're going to go this way. Through this forest, you can see the trees, the pine forest up ahead here, the big hill my buddy comes up to another street that is close to these woods here, but that's the entry point down there. Then we come up through here, and all these good old wooden fences, these stone fences, they're all over this area of New England. And we cut through this extra area, and the new path. A lot of deciduous trees still. But you can see up ahead here, we're going to get into a lot of conifers. And just up ahead here, if you see all the leaves that are on the ground here. And right in front of us, the leaves kind of disappear. And you can see the ground here is now all pine needles. So that, you know, when you look up here, these are all just pine trees, massive pine trees all over the place around here. The pine needles are nice on the path because it really makes it soft. Cookie, you coming? I hear ya. She's through the trees up there. Cookie, let's go. Come on. Cookie, let's go. And she comes trotting along. I'm going to keep walking. Okay, let's go. Good dog. You know, with the spring coming, I really noticed this last year when I was paying attention. The deer, I think the months that I saw them almost weekly seemed to be May and June last year. And by the time August rolled around, they were kind of rare sightings. You still see them, but they're just rare sightings. But in May and June, it was just like every second day I was out here, I'd see one. So it'd be nice. And ducks have inhabited a couple of the ponds, and they don't let you get too close. Not that I try, but when I go past them, they're not scrambling to get away from me. One time they were on a log and they actually sat there and let me pass. Not too close, but not too far. The other times they kind of look at you and slowly swim away. Oh, about 3 weeks ago we saw a fisher cat too, which was kind of cool. And he noticed us before we noticed him. I was out here with my wife and Cookie. And because he's a pretty good size and bolted when he saw us, that's how we saw him. We could hear him kind of running, and looked over, and sure enough, and he was running perpendicular to us. Where we were, he was going in a straight line to get away from us as quick as possible. But you can really see his size and stuff, and I'm glad they're scared of us, because I think they're tough creatures. Okay, look at you down at the bottom of the hill. Let's go. Come on. Good dog. Good dog. Come on, let's go, Cookie. Let's go. Come on. And the helicopter. Cookie, let's go. Come on, let's go. You got it. Let's go. Cookie. Good dog. Okay. You gonna lead the way again? Yeah, we got a bit of rain last night, so it's damp in here, but not wet. There's a couple wet spots coming up, and if it stays like this, we're in great shape. I don't think it rained enough to create one of those rivers or anything. The ground always kind of sops everything up before it gets so saturated that one of the rivers forms. And I haven't paused it, and she is keeping up with me, lagging behind. Here's our turn. We're going to go up this way. As I said, we'll do the round. We're going to come over Indian Rock, which is up in those hills there. We'll come back down this way, and then take this path, which takes us right to the end of King Philip, instead of coming this way, which Cookie's coming up. And if we go this way, that little pond, it's just out of sight right now, but we'll see it in a little while, 20 minutes or so. That's where frequent duck sightings. What you doing? Okay, let's go. Let's go. Time to go. My wife and I watched an amazing movie last night called The Young Lions. Marlon Brando plays a Nazi in World War II. It starts off in 1938, before Hitler invaded Poland. And then Dean Martin and Montgomery Clift are two American GIs. They don't really interact, Brando, with the two Americans. The two Americans do. They've got just three kind of lives of younger men. Dean Martin might have been a little bit older in World War II. But every time they switch over to one of the other characters and show a slice in the life on what they're going through, it was riveting every time. Excellent movie. Cookie, coming? So I'd recommend it. I won't spoil anything, but a good flick. This is one of the areas that always gets super wet, and it's looking like it's kind of dry up ahead. Damp but dry. This gets so wet at times up in front of me here that when it's super wet, I actually cut over here and just make my way through the bush. Cookie's so funny. When I start walking, she always stops and looks back at me. I have to stop and wait for her when she's behind me, but when she gets in front, she doesn't get too far in front. You can see how wet the ground is here, but that's okay. That was easy to get past. All right. So, this dog is so loud now with her breathing and snorting and everything now that she wouldn't be able to sneak up on anybody anymore. Which is good. Remember, we were up at my dad's place outside Toronto when we got her. We've had her for a while now. She is 11. She was about 3 when we brought her in as a rescue. And she's had a good life since then, so it's great. But in my dad's backyard, which he's got no pets, so he puts out bird feed and doesn't mind when the squirrels come, and actually puts out a separate feeder for the squirrels, so they've always felt kind of safe. And Cookie went out and chased him one time and actually caught one of them and had the squirrel in its mouth, and fortunately the kids are outside, so Cookie, no! And she dropped the squirrel, and the squirrel ran away, which is good. Then a dead squirrel popped up later, and she's chased the odd squirrel since, but she's a smart dog. When she knows she's not supposed to do something, she learns it quickly and then doesn't repeat it. And you look at the way she is with me now. The first time I had her out here off leash, I had her on leash, and kind of doing a street walk, and decided to cut through the forest to get home because it's been ages since I'd been in the forest. Now it's pretty well, I do the forest all the time instead of the street walks, but I don't know if Cookie could handle the 3-mile street walk, and she likes it back here so much better. But this would have been, I don't know, 5 years ago, and I took her off leash and she was kind of with me, and then she decided, that's it, I'm gone. And she ran home that path past where the ducks were that I mentioned a bit ago, through the mud, out King Philip, and then straight to our house, and showed up all muddy, and at least she knew how to get home. And I couldn't walk with her off leash again for some time. But she's come a long way. I don't even bother with her collar. There's no need. Okay, you're doing really good. And she meets some friends in here too. There's a couple of the neighborhood dogs that she really enjoys playing with. And we see them weekends probably more so than not. This guy here is funny. This tree here, something was really chewing at this guy. You can see it's fallen, but it's just kind of hanging on here. But all the stuff on the ground. This one here was lying across the path, and this is probably the biggest tree I've moved. I was able to kind of lift it, hop it over a little bit, hop it over until I finally got it across the path. And my thing was lifting it up so it sat on top of that. And now it's good, and it's in a good spot. It's beside the path, kind of maybe draws a little bit of a border for the path, which is nice. But I'm sure at some point this guy's going to come down when that finally rots out. Looks like it's just hanging on. Who knows how long it'll be. There's some really good guys that come through here though. I'll move everything that I'm capable of moving off the path. I carry this walking stick, and I'm always flicking the sticks and stuff off, and but sometimes the tree is just too big. But these good guys come by, and just neighbors, people that maintain this forest itself, and they've got their chainsaws with them, and you know, just come, something's blocking, they'll just come and clear it out. Okay, you coming? Good dog. Good dog. This guy here will come down at some point. You see how green it's getting? I'd kind of not been shooting my walks for, I don't know now, probably since January, and it's April now. And I got the camera all charged up again because I want to get cooking. Here's that beautiful rock again. I always come over here and look through the forest here, but I've never once seen a deer down in this little valley here. But this is kind of a nice rock to kind of stand and take a look. There's Cookie coming. Alright, should we keep going? I think this weather suits you, Cookie. There's a bug. Good dog. Oh, your tail's going now. We're at the north end. That's Wampanoag is the street, and Lost Horse that are through the trees there. So this is kind of as far. We're doubling back, making our way back to Indian Rock now, back towards our house is the Jordan end. So just to give you some scale, the place isn't that big. If you take the kind of weave back and forth, which I'll show you where they are, you know, you can easily get a couple mile nice walk in here. You know, even if you come for a picnic or something, you sit up at the top of Indian Rock, which is quite beautiful. You know, we'll go over that today. In all these chronically wet spots, when it is wet, and we've had some of these spots wet where they stayed wet for, you know, over a month before they finally drained. They're not wet now, and here's one of them right here. This is one that when the water's so thick here, I cut through around this way. My wife likes to practice her balancing act and takes that log and then takes the other log and comes back out right where Cookie's standing now. I'm good with it because I've got my walking stick to help me balance. So she'll come back out this way and we step across, but it sure is nice when that area is not flooded over. Late April, we've had a lot of our rain. And the kids are coming off the week off school. So a good friend of mine ran in the marathon, and she lives out in Colorado, and her husband came out. So we met them in the North End in Boston on Friday night and had a great dinner, great evening with them. Showed them the Freedom Trail and Paul Revere's house and all that cool stuff you do in Boston. And then she ran the marathon on Monday. And you know, she's a little older than me, and she's running the marathon still. But good for her. And then for the week, because the marathon on the Monday, Patriots Day, that's always the week that the kids get off school. My daughter's not a kid, she's graduated high school and she's 19 now. My son's in grade 10 in high school, so he's the one that's got the week off school. But the four of us went down to Nashville for 4 nights, and that is a beautiful city. You wouldn't believe what a party town the place actually is, which I kind of knew, but we'd never been there before. But we spent 4 nights, arriving Wednesday. And on the first night, we went to the Grand Ole Opry, which I would recommend to anybody. I'm not a huge country fan, but I got a lot of respect for it. They're talented musicians and everything. And I do like the music, and I'm coming around on it actually. I kind of grew up on rock and everything. But what a great show. The Gatlin brothers kind of host it, and all the acts that they had were excellent. And Kid Rock was in town. He's got a property somewhere around that area, like kind of a huge ranch type thing. But he came out and did a song, which my daughter, being 19, thought was awesome. Kid Rock. So a 19-year-old went to the Grand Ole Opry and enjoyed her time. And then Thursday, we went to the town of Franklin, Tennessee, which is where some very bloody Civil War battles took place. Oh, you're pooing there? Okay. Good spot for you. Show you Indian Rock. Climbing up the side of it here. We're going to go right over the top. So that was about a 7-hour tour, which was a while. There was a place to meet, short walk from the hotel. We stayed downtown Nashville, and they bussed us out. And then a great tour though. Learned a lot. And my son, studying some of this stuff in grade 10, he was the youngest, and the crowd was, we're in our 50s, and the crowd, we were probably on the younger side for the crowd that was attending it. He knew all the history. When the guys at the 3 stops we went to, the Carter House and the Lutz House, he was able to answer the questions. Like he knew about the Trail of Tears. So that was all cool. And then we had a great dinner. I had to get some southern cuisine while I was there, so fried chicken one night, but other good stuff also. And then Friday in the day we went zip lining, which we've done about 4 times now, and that's always fun. Hawaii was maybe the most beautiful, but we did it in Jackson, Wyoming, and we went on a Yellowstone tour, and that was really nice too. And we did a cruise for their winter break last year, and maybe it was Nevis St. Kitts is where we went, but it was good, really nice. My son loves it. That's his favorite thing to do. So ziplining's not that expensive, and it's a lot safer. Like, I know it's scary because it's a bit of a leap of faith. All right, you coming up here? But it's safe. Remember the first time we did it was Hawaii, and he was so nervous about doing it. Let's go, Cookie. And it was like a trail back and forth, I think 7 runs. Here's the top of Indian Rock. I'll take you to the edge. Just up here, you can see down there, and if you can see it, there's the path that we just came up. If you look down there, you can see that tree with the red dot on it. The path is right beside it. It kind of disappears up there. And one of the marshes, which we'll be able to see better here, I haven't seen ducks there, but there's been points where they're just so loud. So back to the zip lining. After he got his first run done with, sucked it up, got past his fears, he was in party mode for the other 6 runs. Nothing scary about it anymore. Actually, in Tennessee last week, there was an older couple. They looked like they were around 70-ish. Very nice people. And the lady had gone ziplining twice previously, and the man had never joined her. He was always, he just couldn't do it right. So this was his first time, and he sucked it up really good, man. I remember after his first run, I high-fived the guy, and he was like, all right, got it done. And he did the whole run. This was an 8-run course, and some of them were kind of long, kind of fast. The guides are really professional. They did a great job. Good dog. And then on Thursday night, we did a riverboat cruise on the General Jackson. It's actually a pedal boat, not powered by steam, but up in Opryland, where the Grand Ole Opry is, And then they take us up river, the Cumberland River, all the way to Nashville. And then they turn around in Nashville in the river and take us back. And it was a good cruise, a nice buffet dinner, prime rib, and all kinds of good stuff. And the music was excellent. They played all the old classics, Johnny Cash and everything, and went through the decades. My daughter loved the show for that too, so she's more into the country music than I am. I like it though, as they say. And then Saturday we had a nice lazy day. Again, for a great dinner, lots of live music. The bars, you walk down Broadway Street and the band's playing, the windows are open so you can hear the music from the street. And you walk, and then often right next door there's another bar with a band, windows open, playing something different. And I say, as the styles change, it's it's mostly country or southern rock or stuff like that. But man, were they all good, so good. So buzzing around town on scooters and just enjoying the music, and and flew home on Sunday. But what a nice 4-night trip. All right, you coming? You coming? How about you walk in front of me for a while now? You want to go first? Okay, I'll follow you, okay? Good dog. We are going to go up to see my dad in Canada in July. I got some friends that have cottages that are outside of the Toronto area, which is really good cottage country. So we'll visit them. And it's nice, that's an affordable trip because we're staying with friends the entire time and driving, so no airfare, no hotel. Get to spend our money on, grilling steaks and stuff like that, maybe wine, so that's good. And then my wife and I have a trip to London, England with another couple who we really enjoy their company. And Steve Hackett, the guitarist for Genesis, back when I liked their stuff the best, but the Peter Gabriel and a couple albums they did after Gabriel left, I thought were just as good as music got for my style. Steve Hackett still tours, and he still does a lot of solo, but he does a lot of Genesis too. So we see him every time he hits Boston, which is about every 2 years. But he launched a mini tour through the UK, about a dozen sites, touring the old album from 1974 called The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. He's not doing the whole thing, which would be nice. His last stop on that UK tour is Royal Albert Hall. So we planned our trip around that. So not only to see Steve, but Royal Albert Hall. You look at La Scala in Milan, or the Grand Ole Opry, or the Sydney Opera House. The world's got some great shrines, temples to music, and it'd be nice to see them. I've seen Sydney Opera House, but only from the outside. We didn't go in, but that would be cool. Kind of regretting that. I don't know if I'll ever get back to Australia. But the Grand Ole Opry was cool, and I can't wait to see Royal Albert Hall. What's up there? You see something? Somebody up there? So we've gone over Indian Rock. That was the Blue Ridge Trail, and this is where we came down. So Cookie's taking the path that we came up. Remember I said with all the water, that was that way. Turning around, this is what we're coming off with now, that blue marker there. Complete the circle. We're going to walk this trail that we walked previously. We could have taken the full outer loop, but it's just too short. And I like crossing over Indian Rock too much. That's where all the real climbing is. She knows the way. Let's see what she does if I stop. Oh, maybe she doesn't know I stopped. Oh, there she is. Now what she always does is kind of turn around and she'll look at me and wonder why I'm not coming. Here, she's getting ready to turn around now. Okay, I'll start walking, see what she does. She can hear me. There we go. Good dog. You good dog, Cookie. just going back down this trail. We'll see if the ducks are out today. You sniffing again? You gonna try pee? You got any pee left? I always see snakes around here. Just little garters. You never really see them. They feel your footstep when you get close enough, and then they go scurrying off through the leaves, and you look down and you can kind of see them. So here's the path we came up where Cookie was climbing that hill. Nice valley down there. You see deer occasionally through there. But we're going this way now, and this is the path that takes us to King Philip, which is where people that drive to come hike here always park. No ducks. They're in there though. I'm sure they've made their nest. So the one log they were on one time is this one right in front of me here. And they were sitting out there close to, over the water. And I walked past them. They watched me. But they didn't take off. And the other couple times I've seen them, when you come walking through, they start swimming away, but they're not like fluttering. They're just like using their feet to pedal along and get some distance. Oh, that time Cookie ran away from me, when I said that was 5-6 years ago. This was soaking wet and muddy here. And she went plowing right through it. And I got in trouble. But I always kind of come around this way here. Easy step. Step one and the other across, no big deal. Let's see how she does. Okay, let's go, Cookie. Let's go. Can you jump it? Can you jump it? Well, it was a pretty good jump. If you want to just look in there, you won't be able to see the ducks. I don't see them anyhow. But, you know, it's kind of a small little pond. But they're in there. They got a nice nest. Coyotes, fisher cat, and fox have all been spotted back here. I've seen all three of them before. That's the edge of it there. So the ducks do have predators back here. You'd hate for their nest to get raided. I guess they gotta lie kind of low. This is amazing. About, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, I was about 10 o'clock at night, and my wife went downstairs to let Cookie out. She goes out the front door, has her pee, comes around to the back door, let her back in, she's down for the night. And we used to have the electric fence. We don't use it anymore. She doesn't leave the property. But there's a coyote across the street. And Cookie saw it and barked at it, and the thing took a couple steps back. Then the coyote decided it was going to get aggressive. And it charged Cookie, ran across the street. Cookie bolted to the front door. But the coyote caught up with her. I was in bed, like ready, brushed my teeth ready for this second. All I heard from outside is this terrible dog fight. And thank God my wife was just there watching. She often lets the dog out and then kind of does something while she waits for Cookie to come around to the back door, you know, and the motion sensor lights come on and everything. There's King Philip. And as soon as she opened the door and kind of yelled, the coyote took off. And, you know, Cookie didn't have any bite mark, but, you know, coyote's bigger than Cookie. And, you know, a feral dog, right? You got to think he'd win the fight no problem against Cookie. That's King Philip there. Beautiful little street. Our street goes right onto it. So we've been pretty careful when we let her out at night. We did call the authorities. Just let them know what happened. You know, it wasn't, I don't think so. I figured coyote's going to lie in ambush. He's not going to be across the street. It's going to be like where, you know, his Cookie comes out. And we haven't seen it since. And maybe the fact that my wife scared it away, you know, coyote realized, okay, this is in a safe place. but they're out. I would have thought Cookie would have been too big, you know. Animals don't pick fights with animals that isn't a guaranteed win, you know. They go for the easier prey. Even hawks. We got married in Ireland 22 years ago now, and stayed at Ashford Castle, which was beautiful, for a night. And one of the excursions we did was a hawk run, where you go, we didn't actually go hunting, but kind of simulated. But our guide was great. So I put the glove on, you know, the big glove, and the hawk's sitting right here. You know, it's got that face and the beak and everything, you know. But he, you know, you think, oh my God, this guy can tear half my face off if he wants to. But what I learned is when they used to hunt with hawks, this was a Harris hawk, and his name was Wexford, named after the county in Ireland. The hawk will go and get the rabbit, but they're lazy creatures. They only fly when they're hunting. And when they get the rabbit, they're always looking for the path of least resistance. The person that is, you know, the hunter, the man, will throw down a piece of meat, and the hawk will immediately leave the rabbit, because this is a creature he's got to fight with and kill, and just go for the meat that's there. I learned all this during this walk. It was pretty cool. And then the guy picks up the rabbit, and I don't know if they still have to kill it or not, depends how far the hawk got with it, but that's basically hunting with the hawk. Pretty cool. And the forest was beautiful there. What you see? Something up there? Something up there? We're coming up to that place where I pointed out to you. You see the size of the rocks and everything back here. So as soon as we get to the top of this little hill, we'll be back on the path that takes us back to where we live. Not too far from Jordan Road, down to the other end of it here. And you're doing good, Cookie. So here's our path again, in that nice little valley down there, which I've seen deer. We came up along this way last time, went down around the bend, and then cut through the forest where the pine forest is. We're going to go back this way this time. And there's a couple options. I should have pointed out when I passed it, but I was talking about something. I do hope I'm out here one time when we get to see deer. They're through the forest, right? So the odds are we'll see them, but they're pretty shy. Most of the time they see me before I see them, and they bolt. But you know, you can hear them running, and that's when you kind of look up and you see them. A couple times I've stumbled across them. Freddy the Frog's house. I won't introduce those characters today, but I am working on the stories, so I'll shoot a couple adventures of Freddy the Frogs while I'm out here. These are the stories I used to tell my daughter when I tucked her into bed at night when she was, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years old, until she outgrew them. But I remember the characters and everything, so I've been kind of constructing a series of stories that introduces the character and the history of Metacom. And of course there's good guys and bad guys. Bad guy's a witch, and she's going to have a bit of an army. And Freddy's our hero. And he makes best friends with Martha Moth and Beatrice Butterfly. And of course there's Danny the deer and Sammy the skunk. And I'm thinking about the character I did not have, Harold the horse, because there's a nice horse that lives on the other side here in one of the houses. He's an older horse now, here in his 20s. Since the horse was frequently through here, and the horse's owner is very generous, allows his neighbors to cut through his property to get into the forest. I won't tell you where that house is. But I've met him out here before because he used to take the horse through here, but the owner used to come out with his chainsaw, and when a massive tree was down, he was the guy that would clean it up. So here's the official path. This is where we started filming today. If you continue through here, there's actually a couple little bridges and everything. That is the shortcut to King Philip. Our property is on Indian Lane. And that would have been the full outer loop. Rather than take the shortcut, which is a straight line to King Philip, I cut through all the thicket and the long way and came back around, which is the path we took. So I'll sign off from here, and thank you for joining, and thank you for listening, and thank you for subscribing. Have a great day.